Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. We had a major cold front pull in last night. We've had such unseasonably warm weather this fall where the water temps earlier in the week were still pushing 70 degrees. Right now they're 63. So basically overnight we've dropped almost 7 degrees. So I got out I'm getting out for, I've got probably, I don't know, an hour and a half. I don't have a whole lot of time. Drop the kids off at school. I figure I'd come out and see what's going on. Hank and I are fishing a little local derby Saturday. So today is Thursday, so in a couple of days on a stretch of river just upstream from us. So I figured I'd get out and just see kind of what's going on so I know what to expect when we get out there. See if I can put together a video for you. Generally speaking, when this happens on the lakes in my area, the fish really start moving to some rock. So I think that's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna probably pull out a Berkeley War Pig, a Lipless Crankbait, and cover some shallow rock. You know, we were supposed to have some sunlight today. It doesn't look like the weathermen were right again. But a lot of times it's that rock that retains some heat. So I'm gonna run some of that and see if we can catch a few fish, just kind of covering water, just getting a feel for what's going on. Maybe give you guys a few pointers as to how I like to fish it. And yeah, hopefully have an enjoyable couple hours, because winter is on the way here in Wisconsin. It's pretty crazy to think that, but it's been a fast summer. Anyways, all right, we're getting ready to get up on plane and head to our first spot. Oh. There he is. Not a giant, not a bad one. I think there might be a bunch there. I got cracked, popped her up every time, like 3 times in a row. Either he was following it or there's more down there. Let's hope there's more down there. There he is, right there. Walleye. Nice one. You are a fish sandwich waiting to happen. Today's your lucky day. Right at the boat. Gave it a quick pause. That's a nice one. That's where having a good rod. So I'm actually throwing, this is one of my crankbait rods. It's a CB 906. It's a blended action rod. And it's just perfect for moving baits because when they load up on it like that right there, it's a, come here. When they load up on it right next to the boat, you have some give that lets them get the hook in them better. That was awesome. Nice chunky 2-pounder. Starting to put their winter weight on. So I'm retrieving this thing in a bunch of different manners. You know, the cover that I'm fishing is rock, but a lot of it is, you know, really shallow I'm throwing up to, and then it just comes off of like a ledge. So I'm kind of, for the first part of the cast, I'm generally keeping my rod tip high and I'm just kind of popping it because, you know, it's only in 1.5 feet, 2 foot of water. And then when it comes off that ledge, I lower my rod and I'm kind of just doing more of a sweeping motion, a little bit slower retrieve. You know, I'm just kind of trying to impart a little bit of action, you know, keep the bait moving. I don't like to just straight retrieve a lipless crankbait. I think, you know, you have a lot better chance of getting some bites if you actually impart a little action, a little twitching. Just seems like it really generates a lot more. You know, I've done a video on all the different lipless retrieves, and I can link that at the end of the video because it is extremely versatile. A lot of people, I think, feel like it's a cast and reel bait, but it's an extremely versatile bait. You know, I'll fish it all the way down to 20 feet where I'm, you know, using a yo-yo style retrieve, fish some deep ledges with it like that, where you actually, you know, giving it some good hard pulls to get it to pop off the bottom. You know, other times you can just slow retrieve it and kind of pop it, and almost like you're dragging it on the bottom, almost like a football head jig. It's a really good bait for suspended fish. I just feel like it's one of those baits. It's got a really die-hard following by some people, but overall it's a bait that just is tending to get a little bit more forgotten about, unless you look at a couple of really specific lakes, your Rayburn and Gunnersville and a handful of lakes where it's still a really hardcore bait, but then it's used more as just your straight grass bait. And in this case, it's you know, I'm showing you, it's not, I don't have grass where I'm fishing right now. This is all just rock that I'm beating it on. It's actually one of my favorite baits for fishing fast current, like rapid style current, you know, where you're throwing in, you know, you would think you would get stuck because you're throwing into actual rapids, but the bait just kind of swims on its side and rolls over the rocks. And that's one of the cool things about it. But it is a very versatile bait, very underused for smallmouth too. It's a fantastic smallmouth bait. And we could catch either here. I'm expecting more smallmouth, but there are some largemouth to be had. I do catch them frequently doing this. But it's a, oh, that felt like a bite. Ooh, God, I think he hit it again. Now I got weeds. We do have a little eelgrass floating around coming from higher up the river. But the one thing I do, the war pig, the shape of it, see how the head, you've got like this blunt head? When fishing rock, this thing will actually like hit and come up over. And it's one of the things that I really like about it, just from a design standpoint. A lot of lipless baits are much rounder in the front, and therefore they tend to hit the rock and just roll right into the rock. And the war pig comes through rock, I feel like, better than a lot of other lipless crankbaits. I mean, I've got a handful that I really like to throw. The war pig, you guys know, I think I mentioned on the channel, I really like the old Excalibur, like the XR50, the one knocker. You know, I think that's a great one. Yozuri makes some good ones. You know, there's a lot of good lipless crankbaits out there, but not like all lipless crankbaits are not the same. Some excel in certain areas over others, and I'd also say I feel like there's a lot of lipless crankbaits out there that don't have the characteristics that I'm looking for in terms of, you know, the fall rate, the movement on the fall, you know, how fast they start up. Some of them tend to get really caught up in their own hooks. You know, they catch the line a lot. There's just a lot of playing around to find the ones that you really like. And like I said, I probably got, oh God, you see that smallmouth right there? Hit it. I did not stop it. I hit it. I was pulling out of the water. I'm talking to you guys. I blame this one on you guys. That was a nice one. God, I pulled it out of the water and did not stop it. That one, that's my fault. I mean, he definitely broke the water coming for it. So that's the thing. I mean, it's good when you find a good one. It's pretty amazing how versatile they can actually be. Let's see if we can get him to come back. I feel like there's a handful of fish here. We got something. Oh, God dang, it was a nice smallmouth. What do we got? Little guy. So one thing I really like to do with a lipless is bring the bait uphill. And what I mean by that is I'm actually casting deeper and I'm bringing it up onto this little rock bar that I'm sitting on. And there's two reasons for that. So there is a little bit of a ledge that runs around it. I'm sitting in about 3.5, 4 foot, and it drops off into 6 or 8, depending what side I'm casting to. And when you hit that ledge with a lipless, it creates a really good erratic motion. So you get your ledge and you pound it with the nose, and that bait will go whatever direction it wants. And that's one of the best times to get bit. So I like that. The other thing is the bait generally wants to kind of run higher as you bring it in. So it's easier to keep the lipless near the bottom while you're fishing it uphill. You know, if you were throwing a crankbait or something, it's almost harder to bring it uphill, because at that point you're talking about, you know, the bait wanting to dive deeper, but a lipless wants to run shallower as you're retrieving it. And from that standpoint, that's something that you know, is a big difference for me in when I'm using a lipless versus just the traditional crankbait. But definitely, you know, think about bringing it uphill, because it's easier to keep that contact. It's easier to keep the bait in the zone. And with a lipless, just like a crankbait, the more you can pound it and deflect it off rocks and stuff, the better you're going to be. That one feels good. Oh, I just got him hooked weird. Not a big one by any means. Got him, he came right back for it. Walleye. Another fish sandwich. And another cool thing about a lipless crankbait, it catches everything. Fish sandwich. Another walleye. We moved out on the tip of this rock bar, so it's a little deeper. Not surprising that that's where the walleyes are. Sometimes that's where the big smallmouth are. Another one. Feels good again. That's a good smallmouth. Real red looking one. Giant, another chunky little guy. Getting bit on like every third cast right now. Nice chunk. Well, we were stuck in a wad of fishing line and I could not free it up, so we're tying another one on. This is proper copper, one of my favorites for the for any of your like tannic stained water. So if you happen to be fishing like down in Florida or a river, really good color. We'll give this a little bit of a whirl. Maybe it'll increase our size a little bit. We'll see. Popped it right off that rock. Another little walleye. No, a little smallmouth. Proper copper. There's one. Not a big one again. Well, it's still fun. That's all I can say. Catching a bunch of fish. But I think we're gonna call her a day, guys. And hopefully you guys picked up a few tips on using a lipless. They truly are one of the best baits out there when it comes to just being able to fish a bunch of different types of structure, fish a bunch of different types of depth zones, a lot of different species, as you guys saw today. I mean, caught a bunch of walleye mixed in, but overall just a really fun bait to use. If there's one big takeaway from today, it's to make sure you hit bottom and don't just straight retrieve a lipless. You want to pop it, you know, just give it nice sweeping motions, and you will increase the number of bites that you get. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned, we'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.